we can start. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Blue House. This is our community class. So, we do this every Wednesdays at 7 p.m. It's just that for the past couple of weeks, it's been non-stop rains. So, we had to cancel this community class so many times because of the rain. So I'm glad that the weather has finally cooperated for today and we were able to push through with today's community class. So for today's session, I won't tire you out. Let's enjoy this good vibes that we kind of received as a blessing for today. So let's explore our practice, just being open to whatever happens on our mat, just allowing ourselves to embrace the spaces that we'll create in our practice for today. Okay? So we're going to start off with a short centering or meditation practice. Just go ahead and cross your legs in front of each other. You have blocks there with you, so if you would prefer to elevate your seat, feel free to do so. If in case your knees feel pain, you can always switch out the positioning of your legs at any point that we'll be doing our guided meditation for today. Okay? So go ahead and sit up nice and tall with the crown of your head lengthening to the sky. Allow your shoulders to melt down your back. And if you haven't done so yet, please close your eyes and allow yourselves to get settled on your mat. Allow yourselves to arrive in your space. Acknowledge how your body feels in this moment. Acknowledge how you are right here, right now. You probably had a long day, and this is your last activity. So recognize as well if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling sore, if you're feeling sleepy. Or if you're looking ahead to this class as a means to bring the good vibes, the positivities. If you're feeling ready to take on whatever will transpire in your yoga practice for today. Just take a moment to acknowledge how you feel. Reminding ourselves that more than the physicality of your yoga practice, your yoga as well is a means for you to connect with yourself. Connect in this moment. Once you feel a little bit more comfortable in your space, see if you can begin to lengthen and deepen your breaths. Maximize the amount of air that you can bring into your bodies and the amount of stale air that you can purge out as well. Finding long, deep breaths in and long, deep breaths out. And if ever you find yourselves getting distracted, drifting off, know that that is perfectly fine. Distractions are normal. But rather than allowing yourselves to be caught up by these distractions, I invite you to recognize them for what they are and come back to your breaths when you are ready. Long, deep breaths in. And long, deep breaths out. Now, keeping your eyes closed for now, just begin to gather your prayer hands in front of your chest, slightly bowing your head down, honoring yourself for being here. And as you do so, maybe set your intention for today, thinking of something or someone that you can dedicate your practice to. Maybe someone who might need some positive vibes for today as well. Once you have your intention in mind, just go ahead and lower your hands back down onto your knees. And let's take our last 5 big breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale, breathing in, breathing out 3. Inhale, exhaling 4. Inhale, and exhaling 5. Gently blink your eyes open and go ahead and extend your legs in front of you, allowing your legs to recover from that seated position. You might be feeling some numbness on your thighs, so just go ahead and begin to introduce some movements. Maybe let yourselves windshield wiper your knees side to side. You can slightly bend your legs. You can let your shoulders, your hips kind of go along for that ride. Just loosening up here. Now when you're ready, we're going to take that easy seated pose again. So cross your legs in front of each other. I'm going to invite you to stagger yourself. So some of you move forward, some of you move back so that you don't hit your neighbor by your sides. Alrighty, we're going to take your seated cat and cow. You're going to open your arms out like you're about to give someone a big hug. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, you sweep your arms in front of you like you're hugging an imaginary ball as you bow your head down. We go again, please. Inhale, let your arms open out to the sides. And you push your chest forwards, tilting your chin up. Exhale, hug that imaginary ball around your back. We go again. Inhale, open your arms out to the side. But this time, as you exhale, you're going to wrap your arms around your body with your right arm on top of the left. Hug your body and maybe even snuggle your arms as close as possible towards your shoulder blades. Now, once you have your arms wrapped around you, just go ahead and tuck your chin in to your chest and let your right ear roll over towards your right shoulder. allowing yourselves to feel that stretch on the left side of your neck. And you're just going to linger here for a bit with your right ear as close as possible to your right shoulder. And allow yourselves to broaden just a little bit more through your upper back. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly come back to the center. And we're going to open our arms out again into that seated cat and cow. Inhale. Push your chest forwards. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale. Hug that imaginary ball. Hollow out your belly. 2 more times. Inhale. You open your arms out. Thrusting your chest forwards. Tilting your chin up. And then exhale. Hug that imaginary ball. We go for 1 more. Inhale. And then as you exhale, you wrap your arms around your chest, but this time with your left arm on top of the right. And maybe you snuggle your arms as close as possible towards your shoulders. And then you tuck your chin in to your chest. And you let your left ear roll over to your shoulder. Some of you lingered there for a bit. Some of you went for head rotations. That's fine. Go ahead and explore what feels good for the sides of your neck. And maybe even as you settle into that tilt with your head, maybe there's an angle, feels a little bit better, you can find it by slightly moving your head forwards or back. Inhale. And exhale. Lift your head upright and begin to open out your arms on an in-breath. But this time, you're going to sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, let's transition to tabletop pose. Go ahead and come down onto your hands and your knees. Lower yourselves down onto your hands and your knees. Once you arrive in table, please feel free to sway your hips side to side. Allow your shoulders to move forwards and back. You can close your eyes so that you just let your body instinctively feel where you'd like to take this pose. Some of you might want to move in circular motions. Some of you might want to create zigzags with your spine. Again, just let yourselves feel natural. Listen to what your body needs at this moment. Now let's begin to line up our foundations. So check that your hands are under your shoulders with your fingers spread wide and your knees underneath your hips, shins parallel to each other. Let's take your cat and cow. On an in-breath, let your belly droop down and you tilt your chin, tailbone to the sky. And then exhale, push away from the floor. Round your back and you look down to your legs. We go again, please. Inhale, drop your belly down, tilt your chin up and let your chest expand. Exhale, push away from the floor, hollow out your belly, and feel that broadening sensation on your upper back. Again, please, inhale, drop the belly down, shoulders shrug back, open out to your heart. And then exhale, push away from the floor, round your back, scoop your belly in. One last time, please. Inhale, arch the spine, gaze up to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor and hollow out your belly. Now neutralize your back body, neither arching nor rounding your spine. And we're gonna set up for our child's pose. So you open your knees as wide as your mat, allow your big toes to touch. Sit on your heels as much as you can and begin to crawl your hands forwards, releasing your chest and your forehead down to the ground. Take a moment to let your body settle into your child's pose. Allow yourself to breathe into the spaces that you are creating here. Melt as much as you can into this position so that your body relaxes into those spaces. Recognize as well where you're feeling it the most. You might be feeling it more on your hips. You might be feeling it more on your shoulders. So you're just going to go ahead and send out your breath to that body part. One more breath here, please. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly roll yourselves forwards into a tabletop position. Come back up onto your hands and your knees. Now we're going to combine your child's pose and that tabletop pose. So I want you to keep your hips on top of your knees. And you're going to crawl your hands forwards, melting your chest and your forehead down to the floor. So you're creating that puppy dog pose or melting heart pose that creates that curvature with your spine. Walk your knees a little forward, Missy. Yes. And then think of forehead down. Yes. Alrighty. And allow yourselves to surrender into this pose. See if you can land your head down, Tita Lisa. And then maybe walk your hands just a little bit forwards. Yes, beautiful. Creating that nice arch with your spine. One more breath here. Big breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Great job, you guys. Go ahead and crawl your hands backwards and make your way back up to tabletop. When you're ready, we're lowering all the way down onto our belly. So go ahead and extend your legs back and release yourselves down to the ground. Once you connect to the mat, you're going to stack your forearms on top of each other and let your head rest on your arms. This is your crocodile pose. I want you to give your hips a couple of sways, side to side. Kembot your hips left and right. Masakit, tita? Nabuhay na sila. Alright, so go ahead, sway your hips side to side, just loosening up a little bit here. You can wiggle your bum left and right, left and right. Okay? So we're going to set up for our cobra pose. I'm going to invite you to slightly lift your head up so that you can move your hands alongside your chest. And we're going to stay low for the first one. So you're just going to lift your chest away from the floor. Take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, slowly lower back down to the ground. Press on your hands, press on your feet. Inhale. Come up just a little bit higher. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then exhale, make your way back down to the floor. Got 3 more, you guys. Inhale, maybe halfway up now. And see how your spine reacts to that. And then exhale, come back down to the floor. Inhale, press up almost at the top. And then exhale, come back down to the ground. I want you to choose, okay? For a hold, you can either do baby cobra, mid cobra, or high cobra. So when you're ready, lift up to a degree that feels good for your spine, to a degree wherein you can breathe into this position. And as you find your pose, see if you can let your shoulders shrug back, widening just a little bit more through your heart, expanding through your collarbones. Inhale here. And then exhale, slowly lower yourselves back down to the ground. Great job, you guys. You're going to press yourselves up to tabletop position, come up onto your hands and your knees. Alrighty, spread your fingers out wide. We're setting up for our very first downward facing dog. You're gonna curl your toes and lift your hips up, forming an inverted V position with your body. Once you arrive in that down dog, please fidget around. Maybe pedal out your knees, maybe sway your hips, doing whatever is necessary for you to loosen up just a little bit more in this inverted V. Now listen carefully, guys. You're gonna walk your hands back. Walk your hands all the way back until you arrive at the back end of your mat. And you let your body dangle down into a forward fold. You can micro bend your knees. You can let your arms hang loose. You allow your shoulders and your neck to release into this pose. Now with soft knees, you slowly roll up bone by bone, coming up vertebra by vertebra until you reach the top, head coming up last so that you let the blood pressure normalize into your system. You sweep your arms forwards and then up, and you grab a hold of your right wrist, pulling up to lengthen. Inhale. Exhale, tip over to the left. There you go. And feel that stretch from your right hip all the way towards your fingertips. And then see how it feels when you lean your right rib cage back and you allow yourselves to lengthen just a little bit more through your sides. Inhale here. Exhale, come back to the center and let's switch sides. So you grab a hold of your left wrist. Take a moment to lengthen. Inhale. Exhale, go ahead and tip over to the right, feeling that stretch on your side body. And again, you can bump your hips more to the side. You can reach just a little bit more with that side stretch. Inhale. Exhale, come all the way back to the center, and you release your arms down by your sides. On an in-breath, reach your arms upwards once again. And then exhale, we're gonna come into a forward fold. So you bow down towards your legs, you dive down towards your knees. And as you settle into that forward fold, can you just please pedal out your knees? Allow your knees to bend and extend. Allow your hips to sway side to side, just allowing yourself to loosen up the joints here. Okay? We're gonna walk forwards into our downward facing dog. So please go ahead and walk your hands forwards, forming that inverted V position with your bodies once again. On an in-breath, you're gonna lift your right leg up to the sky. Take three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, land your foot forwards in between your hands. And you're gonna gently lower your left knee down to the floor. Grab your blocks one under each hand at the mid orientation. And we're just gonna let ourselves go deeper into that lunge. So I want you to move your left knee a few inches back so that you feel your hips coming closer to the ground and you get that nice stretch on your left hip flexors. For this low lunge, let's tuck our toes. Let's tuck our back toes so that we have that stable structure. Push away from the blocks and start to rise up. Reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, maintaining your stability. Right hand grabs a hold of the left wrist. And you're gonna take a mini side bend. So you don't have to go super far because you will feel wobbly. So just enough for you to feel that space from your left hip flexors radiating through your rib cage all the way up to your side ribs, all the way up to your arms. Inhale, slowly rise up, back to the center. And then exhale, you lower your hands down onto your blocks. You release your hands down onto the blocks. Now switch your left block to the lowest orientation, and you're gonna flatten that left hand. Switch your block to the lowest orientation, and you're gonna flatten your left hand. Now right arm reaches down, back, up, and forwards. And you do this a couple more times on your own. It's a very simple movement for your shoulder, but can be very beneficial for the muscles surrounding that joint. So allowing yourselves to get that mobility for your shoulder. Inhale. Exhale. I'll meet you at the top. You're going to hold that right arm all the way up to the sky. Maybe look up at your right hand, leaning your right rib cage back, spiraling your chest just a little bit more open into this pose. You're going to give me just one more breath. Inhale. Good. Exhale. Lower that hand down to the floor. And release your knees back down to tabletop. Hands and knees back down to the floor in tabletop. Set your blocks to the side for now, and I'll meet you on your knees and your hands. And you just give yourselves a couple of sways to reset with the spine, to reset with the joints, to reconnect with your breaths. When you're ready, grip the floor with your hands, and let's take downward facing dog, curling your toes, lifting your hips up to the sky. All right, we're gonna do the same set of poses on the other side. So please lift your left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step that foot forwards. And gently lower your right knee down to the ground. Once you arrive in that lunge, just go ahead and grab those blocks so that you can properly fix your feet. Maybe move your right knee a few inches back. Let your hips sink a little bit closer to the floor, stretching out those hip flexors. Curl your back toes. This will help you stabilize. As you rise up into your low lunge, reach your arms up to the sky. So I want you to feel your legs engaged. I want you to feel the inner thighs squeezing in, the belly tight. Inhale. Exhale, grab a hold of your right wrist, and you tip over, mini side stretch to the left. You don't have to tip all the way to the side, just enough for you to feel that length once again from your right hip flexors to your side ribs, all the way up to your arms. Inhale here, please. And then exhale, slowly come back to the center. And you release your hands down to your blocks. Release your hands down onto your blocks. Right hand comes to a lower orientation of the block so that you can stabilize. And you let your left arm dangle down, back, up, and forwards. And you do this circular motion with your shoulder a couple of times on your own. Noticing the mobility of your shoulder. Sometimes it doesn't go all the way back. Sometimes it goes at a weird angle. So just take a moment to observe. Inhale. Exhale. I'll meet you at the top. So you reach your left arm up to the sky and you spiral your chest open to the side. Yeah. Go to a lower orientation so that you feel stable. And then think of pushing bottom ribs forwards and leaning top ribs back. Nice. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, go ahead and lower your hands down to the floor. Release your knees back down to tabletop, setting your props to the side. Sway your hips a couple of times. Move your shoulders forwards and back. Just allow yourselves to loosen up before we move on. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up into your downward facing dog. forming that inverted V position with your body. All right, I'm gonna challenge you for a bit for today. Flatten your wrist, Rika. There you go. You're gonna roll yourselves forwards into plank, lining up your shoulders over your wrists, heels over your toes. Give me one big breath in here, you guys. Inhale. And then exhale slowly. Lower yourselves all the way down to the ground. Once you connect to the mat, remember your crocodile pose. You're gonna stack your forearms on top of each other, and you rest your head against your arms. And you let yourselves maybe again wiggle your hips here, just freeing up a little bit of the space on your low back, middle back, upper back. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. So we're gonna come into a little bit of a back bend effort, your Shalabhasana. So you're gonna slide your arms by the sides of your waist. And on an in-breath, you're gonna lift your arms and lift your thighs away from the floor. And then exhale, lower yourselves back down to the ground. Waking up the back muscles, inhale, hover. From the floor, you don't have to come up super high. And then exhale, make your way back down to the ground. One last, please. Inhale at the top, but you stay here. You can keep your arms by your sides or interlace your fingers behind you. And you move your arms as far away from your bum. Inhale. And exhale, slowly, 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 lower back down to the floor. Hands by your chest. And you're gonna press up the tabletop, come up onto your hands and your knees. So remember our puppy dog pose a while ago? We're gonna do it again. So you had your hips on top of your knees, and you walked your hands forwards. But I'm gonna give you another option. So if you want to use your blocks, you can set up your elbows on top of your blocks. And similar to your puppy dog pose a while ago, you wiggle your head in between your arms and you let yourselves melt your chest, forehead down. And maybe you bend your elbows so that your hands touches the back of your neck or the back of your shoulders. If ever those blocks aren't agreeing with you, you can always do this on the floor. If ever you feel like you would prefer to move your knees forwards, back, move the blocks wider, narrower, you have time. The intention here is to let your heart melt downwards to the floor and you free up space on your chest and your shoulders. Find calm, deep breaths so that your body will relax into those spaces. One more, please. Inhale. And exhale. Careful as you come up. You're going to press against those blocks so that you can release your hands down to the floor. We won't be using your props anymore, so you can set them to the side. All right? We're coming into a lying position, but I'm going to invite you to lie down with your head towards me, okay? So turn around and lie down on the mat. Go ahead. All right. Once you're lying down, just go ahead and listen to my voice. You're going to hug your knees towards your chest. And you give yourselves a couple of gentle rocks, side to side, massage your spine. Go ahead and keep doing that as I close some of the lights so that you can begin to relax. Now keep your right knee with you. Keep your right knee with you. And you lower your left leg straight down to the floor, left leg straight down to the ground. With that right knee, you're just gonna take some ankle rotations with that foot. So ankle rotate that foot for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Spinal twist. You're gonna lower that right knee to the left, let it cross over your body. Lower that knee over to the left, let it cross over your body. So you keep the knee bent and you lower it down to the left. You got it, Missy. And then you can let that knee fall down. And you're gonna open your right arm out to the side and look over your right shoulder. If those blocks are in the way, just go ahead and set them to the side so that you can relax a little bit more here. For this one, Tita Lisa, bring this knee to your belly. Good, and then you let it cross over to the left. A little bit more here. Nice. And let yourselves feel heavy. So if you feel like you're clenching or tensing up in this pose, remember our intention for today. Just good vibes, just allowing ourselves to embrace those spaces. Minimal effort, but lots of benefits for this pose. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Roll yourselves back to the center. And you're going to switch sides. So left knee comes into your chest. Right leg extends down to the floor. Do that ankle rotation with that foot first for 5 and 4, 3, 2, inhale. Exhale, guide that knee to cross over to the right. And you open your left arm out to the side, look over your left shoulder. And again, minimal effort. So notice if you're clenching or tensing up. Allow yourselves to loosen up in this pose. Allow yourself to relax into the spaces. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Come back to the center. And you lower both legs straight down to the ground. You reach your arms over your head. Imagine yourselves waking up on a beautiful morning, just lengthening from the tips of your toes all the way to the tops of your head. Take a big breath in here. As you exhale, you slide your arms by the sides of your body. And we're going to come into our lying butterfly. So you're going to bend your knees and let the bottoms of your feet touch. Let your knees fall down to the side. You create a diamond shape with your legs. You got it. Good. And then you can cambot or sway your hips left and right here just so that you free up space. If you move your feet closer to your bum, it will be intense for the hips. So if you want lesser, you can move your feet further, so bigger diamond. Now your arms can remain by your sides or place one hand onto your belly and the other hand onto your chest. Or if you would like to reach your arms over your head, that's a great option to do for your shoulders as well. My invitation for you though is to find something that works for you. Somewhere wherein you can relax and breathe freely. Notice if you're clenching again at any body part. even the face, see if you can relax. Softening the jaws, relaxing the lips, relaxing the eyebrows. And this pose will start to seep into those spaces, so you might begin to feel discomfort. But remind yourselves that again, distractions, discomfort is normal. You acknowledge them for what they are, and you keep coming back to the calmness of your breath. Three more breaths here, please. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. One last. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your arms by your sides if you're not yet there. And use your hands to guide your knees together. And we're going to finish off with a cradle pose. So hug your knees into your chest. But this time I want you to curl into a really tiny ball, pressing your forehead to your knees, squeezing your fingers, squeezing your toes, making the funniest face that you can make. Inhale. And then exhale, lower everything down to the ground. Release your arms. Release your head. Relax your legs down to the mat. If you have an extra towel, maybe cover off your eyes. If there's any other adjustments that you would like to take for this pose, maybe shimmy out your shoulders, maybe shimmy out your hips. Now would be the best time to do them. And when you're ready, allow yourselves to melt into this Shavasana. Allow yourselves to reap all of the good vibes and the positivities that you were able to gain from today's session. Just by being here for your health, your well-being, means a lot already. Rest and relax. Rest and relax. Rest and relax. start to deepen your breaths, taking long, deep breaths in and long, deep breaths out. Breathing life and awareness back into your bodies as you lengthen and deepen those breaths. Once you feel like you're ready to move, go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your wrist, roll your ankles, and gently move your head from side to side. Morning stretch. Reach your arms over your head. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, take a fetal position. Bend your knees and roll over to your right side body. Stay lying down on your right side body using your arm as a pillow. Just take a moment to reconnect mind, body with the breath. Now, when you're ready at your own pace, go ahead and press yourselves up to seat facing the front mirrors. And as you arrive there, I invite you to have your eyes closed with your prayer hands in front of your chest. Taking a moment to appreciate this sense of calmness and peace that we have found. Allowing ourselves to embrace the good vibes and the positivities for today's practice. And for everything that we have gained, we bow down in a state of gratitude. Please enjoy the rest of your night. Namaste. Thank you, guys.